I was chatting yesterday with somebody who's as plugged into the Los Angeles sports scene as possible yesterday, and this individual told me that the Rams were not going to press for a waiver to try and host the Super Bowl in the year that was planned. That Stan Kroenke was just going to say, "Let's just wait the extra year. Give it to us when your rules say that we can. Let's get everything settled in the new stadium, and then we'll have it when we have it. You know, what's another year?" And it looks like that's what's going to be happening. I'm not just saying that to back up that I told you an hour ago what I heard was happening. But then again, anything else could happen. That maybe the Rams will turn around and demand it. But I think you're going to end up seeing Super Bowl 56 here in Los Angeles and then Super Bowl 55 up for bids. Albert Breer is at the Spring League meeting. What are you hearing about this, Albert?
Rich, I think it makes sense what you're saying. And I know that at least the feeling is that that LA is going to go along with the league's directive on this. And there are concerns about the idea of doing it in year one. Part of that's security. Part of that's working out the kinks of the stadium. Yes, there would be 20 games there in year one, and that's essentially 2 NFL seasons for a stadium. But, there's also the flip side of this, which is that they want to be in the rotation. They want to have the game there every 4 or 5 years the way it was in the 80s and the 90s. And I think that everybody who's in that position looks at Dallas and sees how much Dallas invested in their stadium and how things going wrong at a Super Bowl can prevent you from getting another one. And so I think a big part of this for LA is, yes, we'd like to have Super Bowl 55, but if Super Bowl 56 is going to give us a better chance to have a better event, which will put us in a position to be in the rotation and have the Super Bowl here every 4 or 5 years, then maybe we should just go ahead and do it that way.
And plus, Albert, I haven't met a single person in Los Angeles who's trying to force it to happen or wants it to happen or got disappointed that it's not going to happen for Super Bowl 55. It does not affect the Los Angeles Olympic bid at all. So if that's the case, who might get Super Bowl 55?
The group that was the runner-up was Tampa, and so they would make some sense. Obviously it would take some doing at this point. You got to work out things with hotels and, they'd be working on a little bit of a short clock, but it's still 3.5 years away. So I think Tampa would be near the top of the list. The obvious one that I think we'd all love to see would be New Orleans, but my understanding is that they're booked up for that week in 2021. And so my guess is that it would be Tampa. Again, to me, New Orleans would be the logical one if they weren't booked. And I think almost certainly it would have to be a city that's had it before to work on a little bit of short notice on this one.
Are we going to hear about it today, you think? Tomorrow? What do you think?
You know what? What I can tell you is that it was not on the agenda coming in here, and it was not on the agenda this morning. But my guess is that it will come up in the room, and, it's going to be sort of, the ball's going to be in the court of Stan Kroenke and Kevin Demoff, and however they want to work this out could dictate where things go. If they've made the decision, like you said, that we're willing to step aside and stand down and wait until 2022 to have the Super Bowl, then maybe it could be resolved that quickly. If there's a waiver process they're going to go through, obviously that's something else.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that video, be sure to download our app, and I'll be sure to move Week 6 games to Saturday for that wedding you have to go to.